Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. And today, Jadon Sancho to Manchester United has been confirmed. All that's left is a few medicals and he will be a Manchester United player. And today, I'm going to go bold and I'm going to say this outright. I think Jadon Sancho will 100% flop at Man United. And here's why. So obvious reason number one, in the past few years, especially since Ferguson has left, Manchester United have a track record of bringing in big players, and all of them, with the exception of like one or two, flopping insanely. Like any big money signing they've made has been extremely underwhelming for the price. The only one of real value that I can think of was Bruno, and I'm not going to mention as a Cavani or Ibra because they're frees, like, you know, whatever. But the only big money signing I can think of that's actually done well is Bruno. And even arguments can be made. I think he is an amazing player. So I'm not going to say he's flopped because he obviously hasn't. Obviously there's the pen merchant argument. And I suppose, especially of this season, like his lack of contribution towards big games is quite underwhelming. But I do think overall he has definitely paid off his transfer fee, we'll say. But I do think he's a great player. But everyone else, just not up to scratch. And say we're talking about Pogba, who was saying, oh yeah, he's the best midfielder in the world because he's good Euros. Lads, big fucking swing. He always plays well for France. And even at that, I mean, the guy hasn't scored a goal in 3 years when he scored that goal, and he starts pop locking on the pitch like a fucking 12-year-old. Like, Jesus Christ. Have a bit of respect, Pogba, you lazy shit cunt bastard. Like, holy fuck. Like, the guy, he, again, as I said before, he's way too inconsistent. There's no way he can be rated as the best in the world. Like, if he goes back to United, he'll put in like 5 good performances in the 38 game season, and then he'll do nothing for the rest of it. That's just what he does at United. He doesn't play for that team. In all honesty, he doesn't play for the bad. He's not that type of player. He's got amazing ability, but that doesn't really matter if you don't, use it. So Paul Pogba, not the best midfielder in the world, so stop going on a bit like that he is. He was a flop at United, 100%. Dropped a few good performances here and there, but not enough to warrant his price tag. At the it was 80 million or 88 million or something like that, but at the time in 2016, that was huge money. So 100% he did not pay off that transfer fee. No way. I don't care what type of goals he scored, because he just too inconsistent and he just unsettles that team so much. Now I think Ollie has helped him a bit more. Ollie's more of a people person, like, he's a nice guy in that, so it's easier to play under him. Like Mourinho really unsettled that team once he started going at Pogba and that, but that's neither here nor there. Harry Maguire, I think he's underrated, kind of, because everyone thinks he's shit, and he's not that bad. But 80 million? No way. He's not, like, just... I get it at the time when he was at Leicester. Like, when we signed Van Dijk for 75, Van Dijk obviously is a Southampton player. You would have thought Maguire at the time was better, which is understandable. Maguire was probably playing better, but Van Dijk went on. He's now the best defender in the world. Ramos has even come close, so don't even mention Ramos. Maguire flopped. Maguire isn't even top 10 in the league in terms of centre backs, and that's just in the league. So he flopped. I suppose the big money, there wasn't really any big money signings for United last window. Like Van de Beek and Telles, the only two big name ones, and both of them spend most of their time on the bench. And there's not a whole lot of big money transfers to note after that. As I said, Bruno's the only one that done really well. And Sancho, I think he's... At Dortmund, he's good. Don't get me wrong. But I think watching with the Euros, I think everyone's hyping him up too much. I don't think he was good. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think he was that good. I think he's a bit overhyped. And I think something like that, like the way he plays in that England team, might reflect on the way he could play in the Man United team. I think Dortmund is a good place for him. He's doing well at Dortmund. I wouldn't up and move, no matter how much of a fan you are. Like, you could move to that club and you'll do nothing. I think he may become a bit of an assist merchant. Like, he might drop like 10 assists or something, and people think he's great. Like, he won't be able to take the penalties, so he won't be a pen merchant, but I do think he'll flop. And I mean, he might score a hat-trick against one of the big six or something, and everyone think, oh yeah, he's class. You're not. I think over the course of a whole season, he will have played bad enough or been underwhelming enough to warrant him being a flop. It doesn't matter if he gets a few good performances here and there, because that's what Pogba does, but Pogba is a flop because he doesn't play well enough. And I heard, I think it's 80 million or something, or 90 million or something like that. He will not pay off that price tag this season. That's going to be my call. I think he will flop. There's not much else to it really. I just don't think he will do well at Man United. He might have a good spell, possibly, because again, I do think he's a good player, but I just think with the way he played for England, with the way Man United go around with their history of making players go fucking shit, especially for big money, I don't think he'll do well. That being said, I like Jadon Sancho with Dortmund, and I like seeing him play, so if he did play well, as a general football fan, it would be nice to see him do well so I can still watch that amazing player. But obviously, him being a United player, I don't want to see him do well. You know how it is, but like, just as a general football fan, I do like seeing good, talented players do well, but I don't think he's going to do too much. That's all I'm going to be saying today, lads. It's another short upload. I'm going to try and do these more often, where I upload them, I suppose, quicker to the time. As in, like, this Jadon Sancho only came out yesterday when I'm recording this, and this will probably come out the next day. So, there is other things. Messi's now a free agent, which is a bit mad. Apparently, I think Barca were organising signing him for 2023, I think, or maybe that was fake, I don't know. Rafa Benitez signed with Everton, new Everton manager, and Nuno Espirito Santo is nearly Spurs manager, or maybe he's been announced. I don't really know what's happening. You never really know with Spurs. My opinion on all those, Messi being a free agent, I don't really know what's going to happen, because there's not many teams that can afford his wages. I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona re-signed him, but I don't know. Rafa has become an Everton manager. I think I don't like to see it as a Liverpool fan, because he was a good manager with us, but I'm pretty sure the reason he is doing this is because he has a house, or a home in Liverpool, and I'm assuming that the reason, because he was in China making good money, like, I think the reason he's coming to Everton is because it was an open job, but he gets to move back to Liverpool now and live there, because I'm assuming that's why, because he likes living there, but maybe I'm wrong. And what was the last one? Oh yeah, Nuno. Yeah, if he goes there, I think honestly it's a step down from Wolves, in my opinion. Like, I know Wolves weren't great last season, but of course they lacked Raul Jimenez, who was a big player for them. Obviously they lost Jota as well, so they weren't. I'm not saying they weren't prepared. Like, they didn't. I'm assuming they didn't think they were going to lose Jimenez, especially for a whole season. And then obviously losing Jota too, they had like no really good forwards. Say what you want about Adama. Adama is overrated. He's not great in my opinion. I thought he was good in this breakout season, but I thought last season he proved his worth. I just don't think he's all that, to be perfectly honest with you. But I think with Raul back, they'll be better. They might sign another forward, who knows. But I think Spurs, with Kane going out the door, I mean, they'd have to make mad signings to bring that team back to the way it is, because I don't know, I don't see them doing too well, Spurs, to be perfectly honest with you. They're on the downhill. Like, I don't know how they had the top goals and top assists for one player last season and still only managed Conference League. It shows how good Kane is, and I know he hasn't had a great Euros, but he for me is probably the best striker in the world. I really like Kane. Lewandowski, of course, is an amazing striker, but I admire Kane carrying Spurs as much as he can. I know they only finished 7th, but you can only carry a bunch of wankers so far. But that man, I'd love to see him come to Liverpool. It won't happen. Liverpool don't sign established players all that often. Even like with the big signings we've made with like Van Dijk, Alisson. Van Dijk was from Southampton. Alisson, he was at Roma, to be fair to him. But, you know, I think Roma are a bit of a declining club as well. They're not really big. But that's all I've got to say on that, guys. But anyway, I hope you did enjoy that video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next one.